Okay, good vach, freiliche vach. The Talmud says that when the month of Av enters, we're supposed to decrease in joy. But there's a teaching from the Hasidic masters, named the Baal Shem Tov, I think, that when Av comes in, we have to decrease all the negative things that happen in the month of Av. And how do we decrease all these negative things? By adding in joy. And although tonight's the 7th of Av, and it's the anniversary of the time when the those who destroyed the temple actually entered the temple, the Rebbe said the reason we are supposed to remember this event is not in order to make us feel terrible about what happened then, but on the contrary, in order that we should intensify our efforts to bring up the coming of Mashiach, and by adding in light and joy in a kosher, in a way that's allowed during these 9 days, like for example, by Melaveh Malka, or making siyumim, making celebrations of concluding books of Torah. So I wanted to share with you a story from the Baal Shem Tov. As mentioned last week, it's customary, especially, to share a story from the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov, for a long time, was a hidden tzaddik. The Talmud says that it's in the merit of 36 hidden tzaddikim that the world exists. And the Baal Shem Tov, for until he was told by his teacher he had to reveal himself, he also was hidden. No one knew that he was a tzaddik. So the Baal Shem Tov was part of a group of students of Rambal Shem, until he was told by his Rebbe Aleinu. Baal Shem Tov was a student of the teacher that taught Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu Navi, until Eliyahu Navi told him that he has to reveal himself and he has to become the leader of the Jewish people. He also was a hidden tzaddik. So I want to share with you a story that we know from, part of the story we know from the emissary of the Baal Shem Tov who was sent, and part of it we know from the musician Maggid. It was told to the Alter Rebbe, who shared this teaching with his successors, who passed it down from generation to generation to us. There was a famous Torah scholar and tzaddik named Rabbi Chaim Rappaport, and the Baal Shem Tov sent his student Rav Moshe Meshel to Lvov, to Lemberg, to give a message to Rabbi Chaim Rappaport and to another man whose name was Chaim Yisrael the Potter. The story about, there's two parts of the mission. I shared the longer story on another occasion. I was going to share with you the other shorter story, the mission of Reb Chaim Yisrael the Potter. At that time, when Moshe Meshel came to visit Rabbi Chaim Rappaport's synagogue, he saw that there was a big commotion going on in the synagogue, and he asked if he could speak to Rabbi Chaim Rappaport. He has important things to speak to him about. But one of the members of the synagogue looked at him like he was crazy. He said, "You want to speak to him? Don't you understand that he's very engrossed in dealing with a major issue that that we're all trying to figure out what was going on?" At that time, there was a archbishop whose name was Mikolsky, who made a decree that the Jewish people have to stop saying the prayer of Aleinu l'Shabeach. And the prayer of Aleinu l'Shabeach that we recite 3 times a day, we thank Hashem for our connection to Him, and that we were chosen from all nations. And so he decided that this prayer was too patriotic for the Jewish faith, and therefore it had to be ripped out, chas v'shalom, from the Jewish prayer books. And the great Goy and Tzaddik of Chaim Rappaport, together with other leaders of the community, were convening at that time when the Baal Shem Tov's messenger arrived, trying to figure out what they should do l'kadam te'ara to prevent this from happening. So he couldn't speak to Rabbi Chaim Rappaport at the time, but he waited till Rabbi Chaim Rappaport went home. When he came to his home, he then delivered to him a letter from the Baal Shem Tov. And Rabbi Chaim Rappaport stood up, and whenever he got a message from the Baal Shem Tov, he would be so excited that he would make a Sudas Mitzvah. He would make a celebration and a gathering. He got a message from the Baal Shem Tov, and he would at these festive meals, festive occasions, he would share about the special way of serving Hashem that was revealed by the Baal Shem Tov. And so, although he didn't, sometimes he would tell everyone what the Baal Shem Tov had sent him, sometimes he wouldn't. But his students knew that something must have come from the Baal Shem Tov because he was elated and exuberant and happy, and he made this special Suda, made a special event. And at this Suda, everyone assembled made a firm resolution that they're going to make a fast day the following Sunday, and they're going to commit themselves that no matter what happens, they're going to recite the holy prayer of Aleinu Shabeach, even if they have to give their lives, even if they'll die, Chas v'shalom, they will still continue saying the holy prayer of Aleinu Shabeach. So that Sunday, there was this Mikulski, this archbishop, who was leading this campaign to tear out this prayer from the Jewish Siddurim and to forbid the Jewish people from saying this prayer. That morning, when he came to his church, he fell off the podium and he broke his right foot. And he remembered when this happened that a Jew had come to him the Friday before, and this Jew had warned him and told him, you better stop and desist with this decree, because if not, you'll have a bitter end. So this bishop remembered this Jew had told him this warning on that Sunday when he broke his foot. And because he remembered another event, we had seen the same Jew years before, which I'll tell you about in a second, he announced the decree is nullified, the decree is canceled, the Jews may continue saying Aleinu Shabeach, their sidders, their prayer books shouldn't be touched, and they can continue saying their prayers. All the Jews, of course, were elated, and Rabbi Chaim Rappaport announced that because they started the fast, they should continue the fast till nighttime. But at nighttime, all the synagogues they should celebrate as if it's a holiday. They should light candles in all the synagogues, and they should say the prayer of Aleinu Shabeach with the special nigun, the special song that was revealed by the Maharal Prague. The Maharal from Prague famously lived in a time when there were a lot of decrees, a lot of pogroms against Jewish people, and he is one who brought us the special tune that we sing in our prayers on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And part of the tunes that the Maharal instituted, which are uniquely able to bring down Hashem's mercy to Jewish people, among the tunes is a tune of Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adonai. That's in the Maharal. So they announced that they're going to. The Reb Chaim Rappaport said that on the night after the fast, to celebrate, everyone should sing Aleinu together out loud with that song. They shouldn't bow down. It's not Yom Kippur, not Rosh Hashanah. They're not allowed to bow down, but they should sing. They should celebrate. So this Jew, who this archbishop had seen, who had frightened him, was Chaim Yisrael the Potter, the one who the Baal Shem Tov, the second person, who the Baal Shem Tov had given a letter for, through this Moshe Meshel, this chassid of the Baal Shem Tov. And Moshe Meshel had given him a letter, and that's why he went to the archbishop to warn him. So the archbishop, Mikulski, he remembered years before something had happened, and because of this memory, it made him pay attention. I better listen to what this little guy says. This Reb Chaim Yisrael, the Potter, was a hidden tzaddik, and years before, there was in the region of Podolsk, in the city of Kaminis, there was another decree by another anti-Semite priest, another bishop, whose name was Damboskin. Damboskin made the following decree. The decree was that all the Jewish people should bring all of their books to a pyre, to a place that they're going to be burnt, and all Jewish books should be burnt. All the books which are against their religion, they deem that all Jewish books are against their religion, they should be burnt. And not only should they be burnt, but the Jews have to give a huge ransom for their lives. And if they don't give the ransom that this Bishop Damboskin is requesting, a ransom that should be given to the church, then the Damboskin, this priest, this bishop, will unleash the mob on all the Jewish businesses and homes to steal and plunder from from everyone in this village and entire region. So he sent out riders to announce that on Tuesday everyone should come. They're going to have this great. They should gather the Jewish books, and they gathered books. They went to Jewish homes and took their books, took their holy Sfarim, and they brought them to this place that they erected, specially to burn Chas Shalom all of these Sfarim, all of the holy books. So they didn't just go to the nearby area; they went around to all the homes and took their books. And in addition, again, the bigger threat was not just to burn the Jewish books, Chas Shalom, but on Tuesday he was going to lead, if they ransom, the huge amount of money that they ransomed, that they requested from the Jewish community would not be delivered, then there was going to be a pogrom. So this same Chaim Yisrael the Potter came over to Damboskin, and Archbishop Mikolsky, who lived in Lvov and Lemberg, he was there. And he saw Chaim Yisrael the Potter warn him. He said, "You better stop and this decree against the Jewish people, because if not, you will have a bitter end." And so he ignored him, he laughed at him, and people came from far and wide. Hundreds and thousands of people came, of anti-Semites, to join this procession, to be part of this spectacle of the burning of the Jewish books. And then, if the money wouldn't arrive, and probably even if it did arrive, to go and to plunder and to ransack all the Jewish businesses and homes. That was the plan. Tuesday morning, the church bells ring, and Bishop Damboskin gets up and he leads a whole procession to go to this special place that they had erected, this pyre, to burn all the books. And as this is all happening, you can imagine that the Jewish people weren't sitting Alivai. They gathered in the shul and they made a fast day for 2 days to beg Hashem to have mercy on them. And as this Archbishop Damboskin is walking to the pyre, he suddenly gets a stroke and he dies. And all of the Gentiles who were assembled, they all felt there was a tumult, there was a rumor that the God of Israel had protected his holy books and his people. So this caused a great celebration of the Jewish people, of course, and that's what led this other bishop, Mikolsky, to annul the decree against the prayer of Aleinu Shabbat. I'll share with you one more story. Every Yom Kippur, before Yom Kippur, the Rebbe would give a blessing to his students. In the first Yom Kippur, after the Rebbe accepted leadership of Chabad, the Rebbe said that it's customary before Yom Kippur for a father to bless his children. And he said the students of the yeshiva are the Rebbe's children, and therefore the Rebbe said he will give them a blessing. And the Rebbe continued doing this every single year, blessing the students of the yeshiva, as you are the Rebbe's children. So you can imagine, any father before Yom Kippur, it's a very time of absolute, purity of heart and truthfulness. And so this was what the Rebbe said, and obviously this is the reality. I want to share with you one story about one of the Shiva students who was then in the Rebbe's yeshiva in 1952 in Tafshin Yud Beis, when the Rebbe gave that first blessing. There was a family named Weinberger. You know the story because Rabbi Yoslavsky, the secretary of the Bezdin, the Chabad court in Israel, he went to Menachem Avel, the Weinberger family, and he heard the story from the rabbi of Elad, rabbi of the Or Yisrael synagogue, Rabbi Shraga Feivel Weinberger. Their family is from a prominent Visions family, and they're the Oyev Yisrael, the Visions Rebbe, instructed Rabbi Shraga Feivel's grandfather, Rabbi Asher Weinberger, to move to a city before the war called Timișoara in Romania. The Germans during the war didn't have full reign in all the cities in Romania, so Timișoara was a city that was pretty much untouched. Jews were able to live there, and so this instruction of the Vision Rebbe, the Oyev Yisrael, to his grandfather saved his life. He instructed him that he should become the head of the yeshiva in Timișoara, and that's what he did. And after the war, he went from Timișoara to Bucharest, and he was there for 2 years trying to get a visa to come to America. Finally, he gets a visa to come to America, and he came to America. It was like it was in all the newspapers because he came with his family and 12 children, and it was as if like the whole war didn't happen. It was like his whole family was there, whole and hearty, because they were in this region that was untouched by the war. So this was it made the news in America. But he wanted his sons, Reb Benzin Chaim and Amnasa Nata, to come to a Hasidic yeshiva in New York. But the only Hasidic yeshiva in New York, there was no Visioncy yeshiva then. The only yeshiva in New York at that time was the Chabad yeshiva. So he sent his two sons, Benzin and Chaim and Benzin Chaim Nasanata, to study in 770 in the Rebbe's yeshiva. So, just as an aside, when Nasanata got married in 1956 and 7th of Nisan, it was very bad weather, and the chances of people attending his wedding, even though it was Pesach time, was very bad weather, and he was hoping he would get 10 people come to his wedding. So the Rebbe himself sent the entire yeshiva to go to the wedding, to be there, to celebrate with him. The Rebbe sent a telegram for the wedding. So although he had left the yeshiva, he and his brother had gone off after studying in the Rebbe's yeshiva for 2 years. They went to study in Israel, but the Rebbe, as you can see from the following story, remained a very deep, a bond of a father to a child. Rabbi Shraga Feivel said that it wasn't because of anything that happened negatively, but after his father went off to Vishnitz, to study in Vishnitz, he didn't really maintain any connection at all with the Rebbe. He went to not because of any negative reasons, but that's just the way it was. He didn't visit the Rebbe again, and so it was 35 years past. It was in 1985, and this Benzin Weinberger decided he wants to visit the Ohel of the previous Rebbe, pray there. And he goes with his students and his Chassidim, and he goes to the previous Rebbe's Ohel. And by divine providence, when they're leaving the Ohel, who did they meet? They met the Rebbe going into the Ohel with an entourage of the Rebbe's secretaries, Rabbi Groner, Olva Shalom, Rabbi Krinsky Zeingesund. And Rabbi Krinsky, seeing this gentleman who he had been in yeshiva with, he says to Rebbe, he's a Tamim, he is a member of our yeshiva. And Rebbe responded, of course, this has been Benzin Chaim ben Fradel. Immediately, this has been Benzin Chaim, the son of a woman named Fradel. Now, it had been 25 years since he had sent a letter to the Rebbe, 35 years since he had seen the Rebbe. And yet the second Rebbe season, Ben Tzin Chaim Ben Fradel, just highlights the infinite bond of the Rebbe to every single Jew, and as if like I've been praying for you all this time. I know who you are. You're Ben Tzin Chaim Ben Fradel. And bottom line is that this week, as we're approaching the 9th of Av, anniversary of the time of the destruction of the temple, it's a time not only to focus on the past of the destruction, but on how to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash and to reveal the inner meaning of these 9 days. Because the halacha is that you're not allowed to destroy a temple. And if Hashem tells us that we cannot destroy the temple, certainly Hashem keeps his own rules. Magid dvarav liYaakov. Hashem tells his words to Yaakov. So how is it that Hashem destroyed the Beis Hamikdash? So the Rebbe once explained that the only reason that Hashem would be able to destroy his own temple is if he was remodeling it. You're allowed to destroy a building if the intent is to destroy a shul. If you want to rebuild a shul in a more grandiose way. So because the entire purpose of the destruction of the temple in the first place was in order to build the third Beis Hamikdash forever, that's why that's why Hashem destroyed the temple. So the inner meaning of the 9th of Av is actually about the coming of Mashiach. It's about, as the Talmud says a story about a man who was plowing on the 9th of Av, and he met Elijah the prophet. Elijah the prophet said, "Put down your plow, because the temple was just destroyed." He heard a cow make a funny sound. Elijah said, "That's what the cow is. Why the cow is making a sound? Because the temple was just destroyed." But then the cow made another sound. Elijah said, "Pick up your plow, continue working. Mashiach was just born." Because the reason why Mashiach was born the same moment of the destruction of the temple was because it doesn't necessarily mean that Mashiach himself was actually born, but the seed for redemption was planted then, because the entire purpose of the destruction was in order for there to be the coming of Mashiach. Just like in the story of this Bishop Mikulski, that the entire the decree that happened years before actually served to protect the Jewish people in the next episode, when Mikulski wanted to rip the Aleinu Shabeach out of the Siddur. So at this time, in these 9 days, we have to add in this year Tisha B'Av falls out on Tuesday, and Tuesday is known as a day when Hashem created the world, a day of double good, a day that's good for Shemayim, a day that's good for heaven, and a day that's good for earth, a day that's good for people. So the Rebbe once remarked that there is 2 things the Torah tells us to do. We read in the Haftorah this morning, to end the exile, to learn Torah, to make mishpat tipadeh, and to give tzedakah. So there's a way to study Torah, and there's a way to give tzedakah in a limited way. La bries, the way a human being feels, the way it's good for him, he feels like he wants to learn. Then there is a way to learn Torah and give tzedakah, which is Teila Shemayim, which is good for heaven, the way Hashem wants us to, beyond what we're in the mood of, beyond what we feel, beyond what we like to do do more than that. And so this year, the 9th of Av calls on us to not just increase in Torah and tzedakah in a limited way, what we're in the mood of, but in a way that's Toiv L'Shamayim, in a way that Hashem wants us to, and not just in a way that's good in a spiritual, holy way, but not to actually practically do anything, but in a way that's also Toiv L'Briyas, that we actually roll up our sleeves and we actually add practically in the study of Torah and in the giving of tzedakah. And we should see the coming Mashiach immediately, and see the celebration of the 9th of Av as the greatest yontif for the Jewish people. Karav Mamish. A good Tavach and Zayin Taka Freilich Avach. You have to